Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Money, Real Business podcast. I'm Michelle, and today we have Dan on the show, who has just listed his business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. Hey Dan, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Well, I really want to thank you for making the time to come on today, and I'm looking forward to learning more about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of it. So it's a display advertising, affiliate, and Amazon Associates business in the bed and bath and home niches created in October 2019. The average revenue for the business is $9,238 per month, and it makes an average of $9,144 per month in net profit. Included in this sale is a domain with all site content and files, freelancer contacts, and social media accounts for YouTube and Pinterest. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 61050 to learn more about this business. Or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that we've heard a little bit about the business, let's find out more about the owner. So Dan, could you fill us in on your background in starting and running online businesses?
Yeah, so basically I got involved with affiliate marketing and SEO in 2015. I was currently just working a regular job and I didn't like the restrictions it imposed on me. So I'd always been interested in making money online. Previous to that, I'd played online poker. I'd sold stuff online with moderate success, but I was drawn to this because I've always enjoyed writing. So I was kind of drawn to the blogging aspect. I took many different courses, built up my skill set. And after a couple of years, I did find some initial success. And then I kind of built on my research ability and ended up in this niche. And I'd say this is probably my best success to date.
Well, this is quite a competitive niche, so I'm curious what attracted you to this niche in particular.
It's a profit potential. I kind of reverse engineered the monetization strategies and said, okay, what's the most realistic way of earning a good income with such a high amount of competition that I've got no chance? So I kind of just did a deep dive on the keyword potential and found the gaps and then started to build out the content myself. And then I brought in more experts to help me build that.
Right now, your business is monetized through display advertising and affiliate links, but it's really almost a 50-50 split. So I'm curious, which one did you start with first?
Initially, I went with the affiliates because of the high commissions, but then I wanted to be able to monetize the information articles that are just going to sit in Google and pull in that passive income. So I'm really happy with the 50-50 split. You will get a surge in sales, really pushes the earnings up in some months. And then if there is a quieter period, then you're kind of covered by the display advertising. So it tends to earn a very consistent income overall when you balance it out.
That's excellent. So are you affiliated with multiple networks and partners then?
That's right. Yeah, there's a nice split with multiple affiliate platforms. So we've got ShareASale, Impact Radius, Pepperjam, a couple of private affiliate programs. And within those networks, we've got multiple actual merchants. So there's very, very little risk of, say, the earnings being taken out by one merchant, switching the affiliate percentages or pulling out of the market. I've seen really good stability and I've not been taken out in that respect.
That's great. So do you think there's room to add more partners into this, or are you kind of maxed out right now?
I'm actually at the point where I have to decline offers from merchants because there's simply too many to manage. So I've kind of prioritized the highest earning ones. I've built good relationships with those merchants and I have asked them if they're willing to work with new buyers and they've said yes. Really, yeah, there's a lot of potential there.
Well, that's a really good strategy. Obviously, it's worked quite well for you. Now that you've built this business up into something that's really profitable, you've got these great relationships, why have you decided to sell it now?
The main reason is, as successful as the site is, and as much as I've really become attached to it, I just want to raise enough money to start multiple projects at the same time. For me specifically, I'll be looking at FBA stuff, but I do still love the affiliate marketing model. and the revenue that comes from the display ads. So I will be staying in this business model, but potentially expanding, and the money generated from this sale will allow me to do that.
That's interesting. Since you've started this business, what would you say was your biggest win? Is there something that just worked super well for you that you would carry to, future businesses, future sites?
I'd say it's just targeting underserved topics. I mean, I don't really use keyword tools. I just use Google and a bit of research. So the buyer taking this on, I mean, I'm sure you will have keyword tools, but you can just find these underserved topics. And it's what's allowed me to get over the initial phase where not much happens. So the traffic's coming in I didn't have to wait too long, but the buyer will be able to just take over, and I've done all the groundwork in that respect.
That is really, really interesting. So on the flip side of that, what would you say was your biggest setback or challenge?
The biggest challenge really is getting through what I call the ghost town phase. So the first 6 to 8 months, I mean, if you built out a site from scratch, you'll know that you're kind of just in the Google sandbox and you're just looking for those clicks to come in. And then around the 6 to 8 month mark, you sort of get that uptick. And then about a year in, you start to see that exponential growth. But again, I've done all this hard work for you, so that the buyer just really has to come in and pick up. I've laid the foundation in the silos and the different categories, and you can take this site in potentially up to 3 directions or more.
Yeah, that's a really fair point. So where does the majority of your traffic currently come from?
It's almost all exclusively from search with Google.
And have you invested much time? I know you said that you don't really use keyword research tools, but have you tried to optimize your pages for SEO optimization or tried to get backlinks?
To be honest, I haven't really focused on the backlinking aspect. The buyer, if they want to come in and do a backlinking strategy, this would probably rocket the rankings and the traffic potential enormously. I just put my focus on finding the underserved topics and really creating content that serves the searcher as best as possible. In terms of like forcing SEO, I don't tend to do that. I follow the general guidelines of the core keyword, and then the rest of it's being focused on serving intent. So that's how we've managed to get these rankings.
Yeah, intent is such a powerful thing. I think a lot of people tend to overlook that. So are you doing anything else currently in terms of marketing?
We did start a small YouTube channel. It is very popular. We had a lot of great feedback, and if the buyer would like to take that over, they can do. It does have me in the videos, but it's still brandable, and I'm sure the audience would be fine with somebody else taking over.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up about your YouTube channel, because I know that kind of creating more of this video content was one of the areas of growth that you had mentioned for this business. So could you tell us about the other major opportunities for growth that you can see?
Okay, so as the site sits as it is at the minute, there's quite a lot of easy wins. So if I was going to take this site even further myself, the first thing I would do is go into the top performing information articles and just add in affiliate links. So for example, I've got a lot of high traffic articles that are just informational and they are just sitting there collecting ad revenue. But if you want to deep link to other reviews, you can, or like I said, you can just put in Amazon links or links from different affiliate sites. You can also take that one step further and optimize above the fold with call to actions. You can do that with a plugin or however you want to do it. Another thing that I've not done is set up an email list, so there is that potential as well. And also, if you want to switch out these Amazon links for more lucrative offers, that's something you can look at as well.
And I know that this business has a Pinterest account included with it. Have you spent much time on there? Is there really a presence built up?
That's definitely another area that you could potentially look at. I did put some pins up and it has generated some clicks, but it's not really something that I've spent a lot of time on personally.
All right. So if we could turn our focus just for a second to your content creation. I know that at the current time you are not uploading anything, but what could you tell us about your content creation process as far as who's creating the content or who was creating the content for you? Because I find that you have a really interesting model here.
So initially it was me that created the first batch of content. I came to this niche not knowing anything about it. So I taught myself everything from the ground up. So I got to a certain point where I had enough knowledge, and then I looked at where I could take the content. So that's when I decided to bring in some writers. So these writers are experts in their niche, so they are qualified professionals. I was able to keep the costs pretty low. So they do work for between 3 and 6 cents per word. The articles range from 1,500 to 3,500 words. For these level of professionals, I'd say they're well priced. Like I looked at some others that were much higher priced, so we've got a decent team there. and I have spoken to some, and they said that they would carry on working with buyers potentially.
And how often were you adding content before?
On average, it was around 3 to 5 times per week. That would distribute throughout the month, depending on when submissions arrived. I also had an editor which came in, and she works for $30 per article. She goes through, proofs everything, uploads all of the text and the images. So really then all I need to do is come in and just proof everything one last time and then just click publish.
I'm really curious because earlier when you did say that you don't use keyword research tools and you were saying that you're finding like these underserved article topics, like how are you finding those?
So I kind of developed my own process. If the buyer wants to know, I can definitely help train them up and do this. It involves taking the core topic term, putting it into Google, and then just basically breaking it down using auto-suggest and some of the other on-page features in the SERPs. And you can drill down and then assess the competition using free tools. And then after a while, you can gauge whether these articles are worth writing or not. You can also then what's performing well on the site already. I do have that data, so you can then play off this and branch out into other topic silos.
Wow, that's really cool. What does a typical week look like for you while you're running this business?
At the moment, very little, to be honest. The site is just sat there collecting the money, so all I have to do is just log in and check that everything's updated. When the site's active and producing content, I usually spend a couple of hours each day taking the articles, proofing them, and then just publishing them. So it's pretty hands-off, really. If you can take it as far as you want, if you've got your own team that you want to use to take the site any further.
Excellent. Dan, what do you think the biggest challenge will be for a buyer taking over this business?
I think probably the biggest challenge will be, just as with any business that relies on search, is to mitigate the algorithmic changes. I mean, to some extent, this can be controlled by building out more authority in the backlinking space, which is something I've not really paid much attention to. So if you are willing to put that in, then I think you can build authority and compete quite well.
And would you be willing to commit to a non-compete for a new owner?
We'd have to hash out the details, but if it makes sense, yes.
And how much support are you offering buyers?
I would be happy to work with the buyer in terms of providing them with some easy to rank for topics. So that's going to help get the site off to a really good start from their perspective. Also 30 days support by email, and I'm happy to do calls as well.
And just to get a little bit more clarification, are you open to negotiating something like an earnout or some other type of deal structure?
Yes, we'll be looking for 90% cash up front. Beyond that, yes, we can hash out the details.
Excellent. So, Dan, if you're putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
I think really a lot of the potential lies in the ability to cross-filter traffic to an FBA store, if that's what you've got. If not, then it's already making very good money with the ads. I mean, the RPM is $50. That's very high when you compare the average, which is like in the 20s to 30s. Also, the commissions as well, very high. So there's already making a lot of money with good potential.
And is there anything else that you'd like to say about the business that we haven't covered?
No, I think that's it.
Well, Dan, I really want to thank you for coming on and giving us a little more insight into both you and your business. It's been a pleasure, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 61050. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.